Hey, it's the Libra Man coming at you with part 2 of the series of my week-long birthday cruise on the MSC Seascape. If you missed part 1, I'll leave it at the end of this video so that you can watch it, because I really think that you should watch part 1 first, because I'm going all the way through from beginning to end. So let's get started. So soon as I boarded the MSC Seascape, I was greeted with warm welcomes, welcome here, things like that, which you usually get, but it was just a little bit stronger to me. It just seemed like more genuine. And as soon as you go in, you see this big atrium with all just colorful things and, you know, glass steps and things that I'll get into later on in the series. So one of the things I usually do when I first get there is I go to my cabin. I know sometimes the cabins are not going to be ready and prepared yet, and in this case it wasn't either, but I was able to meet my cabin steward. His name was Yogi, and let me tell you, he is by far the best cabin steward I've ever had, and I'll get into more of that later. My luggage wasn't there at the time, my big one, so what I did is I just went into the room and did their muster station drill. I did my muster station drill in the room, which you have to turn the TV on and turn it to a specific MSC channel, and it shows you the muster drill. Once you do the muster drill, you call 881 to confirm that you have done it. Once you have done it, you go to your muster drill station. They scan your card and you are done. That was as fast as it was. That was one of the fastest muster stations I've ever had. I started looking at my MSC app because at the time, the schedule of what was going on through the day was not in the room as of yet. And let me tell you, having an app when you go on your cruise is a gem. You know, you can see what's going on the cruise, what time things are happening, what time your dining is, what they're having for dinner, what the other kind of restaurants that all have, just a whole wealth of information. So I always suggest using the app, and the MSC app was very user friendly. So we started hearing announcements, you know, about welcome, and the party that we were supposed to have, the sail away party, was going to be inside due to the wind and inclement weather. So that was communicated, but not only was it communicated in English, it was communicated in several other languages so that everybody would understand what they were saying. Because this ship was majority people from other countries. Very few Americans were on this ship. I knew that going in because I knew MSC was an Italian line, and I knew that their overwhelming population was people from other countries. But that didn't bother me because the people that were from other countries, the few that I did talk to, could speak English also. They just chose to speak their language when they were talking to people that were from where they were from, and I had no problem with that. And all of the MSC staff were able to communicate with me in English, everyone that I interacted with. So they had their sail away party in the atrium, and it was full of excitement, it was full of welcomes, it was full of information from the cruise director that was letting us know, you know, what we were going to be doing just for the rest of that evening. I went to dinner, and I was a little concerned at dinner because I knew I was a solo cruiser, and I didn't want to sit at a table full of a family of 8, and it would be just me, so I was kind of skeptical. But I like the way MSC has their table set up. They have their table set up. It's one table, and it's for 2 people, and then they have a space in between. Then there's other 2 people tables all the way down the line. So even though you see a table that looks like it's about for 12 people, I like how they have those separated. And I felt very welcome. People that were sitting next to me were interacting and talking to me after a couple days, you know, and I was okay because when I go to the dining room, I go to the dining room to eat anyway. I don't go to do no whole bunch of talking. So after dinner, there was the first solo cruise event. And yes, they do things for solo cruisers. So the first solo cruise was hosted by the assistant cruise director. Her name was Lerneath. She welcomed all of us. She had snacks and hors d'oeuvres, all kind of things for us to eat and drink. And we were able to interact and talk to people that were solo cruisers. And I was very surprised because might have been 20 people in there, and it was like only 4 guys. All the rest of them were women that were solo cruisers. I found that interesting. We were able to talk to each other about where we were from and how long we've been cruising and things of that nature. And I was okay with that. Now, all the rest of the solo cruise events were not going to be hosted, but that was just an introduction to get people acclimated to each other. And then they still had that solo cruise event, but it wasn't hosted by the staff, which I went to one more maybe, and the people still showed up, and it was an okay time. MSC was very accommodating to not only solo cruisers, but cruisers as well. They were very informative. They let us know the weather situation. They let us know everything as it was taking place. People weren't on the ship trying to figure out what was going on and what should we do next. Not on this cruise line. I was very impressed with this cruise line. So this is the end of part 2. I will leave a link to part 1 and at the end of this video, if you would like to watch the first part. And I have 2 more parts to go. The second 2, I can let you know, will consist more of looking at the ship, the dynamics of the ship, and all the ports that we went to. So until next time, the Libra Man is out.